Hi, I'm Bella Vasta with Jump Consulting, and you're listening to the Social Media Talks podcast with Alan Hennessy from compassmedia.ie.
Welcome to Social Media Talks podcasts, brought to you by compassmedia.ie.
Hello and thank you for joining me. This is the Social Media Talks podcast, brought to you by compassmedia.ie, episode number 56. And the Social Media Talks podcast is sponsored by Content Cal, creating a solution to simplify and speed up how teams can play, collaborate on, approve, publish and analyze social media content in a familiar and intuitive calendar interface. In just 2 years, they are now trusted by over 10,000 businesses and agencies in 110 countries to deliver social media content at scale. And for more information, you can visit their website at contentcal.io. Beautifully, simply, social media software. And the Social Media Talks podcast is also proudly supported by charityradio.ie, one of Ireland's leading online radio stations supporting charities across Ireland for free. I'm your host, Alan Hennessy, and this is the podcast to help business owners who want to learn more about social media marketing. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. You can also join our Facebook group by logging on to facebook.com/groups/social media talks. And join our group where you can find a lot of added bonus content from the podcast as well, with extras from our guests and sneak previews of podcasts to come. And we're looking forward to today's show. Today I'm going to be joined by Bella Vasta. And Bella is a dynamic personality behind the one-woman coaching company Jump Consulting. And since 2002, Bella has been a trailblazer in the pet sitting industry, consulting with multi-million-dollar companies. She's the author, a podcaster, and a blogger, and has been featured on NBC, CBS, Fox, and NPR, and also on Entrepreneur Magazine and the Huffington Post. And today we're going to be talking all about Facebook groups with Bella, as she is one of the leading experts on the groups on Facebook. And we'll go to debunk, demystify, and bring some meaning to how you can bring your Facebook group to life. So without further ado, I think we will transition straight over to the interview with Bella. Hi Bella, how are you today? Thanks for joining us today on the Social Media Talks podcast. It's a pleasure to have your company. We eventually got to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
That's great. And of course, today we're going to be talking all about Facebook groups. But I think before we delve into our chosen topic tonight, maybe you might give our listeners a little bit of a background on you if they haven't heard about you already, which I think is probably very doubtful, because I'm sure they have.
Oh, you're so sweet. So I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. In 2002, out of pure insanity from my parents for giving me a curfew in college, I started a pet sitting company. I grew that to a multi-six-figure business and sold it 14 years later. During that tenure, I also started coaching people. And when I sold my pet sitting company, I started really consulting and speaking and really helping people with Facebook groups and marketing. So that's what leads me to you here today.
Fabulous. And of course, today we're going to be talking all about Facebook groups, and this interests me because I'm as much a learner as what everyone else will be as to listen to this, because, you know, I could just, like, I look at Facebook groups and I say, yeah, they're brilliant and we should have them and we should be doing stuff with them, but it's what do we do and how do we do it? So that's sort of the questions that I wanted to sort of find out off you, and maybe you have I think you have the answers. In fact, I probably know you have the answers at this stage. So I suppose suppose the first thing we should really start in is why should we have Facebook groups?
Okay, so I want you to picture the front yard of your home, right? And it's nice and it's well manicured, and maybe right now you have like a happy fall sign out there or a scarecrow. It's not a place where you would put your in-ground pool or drag out your barbecue and have a barbecue with people, right? That kind of happens in your backyard. So why have a Facebook group? Because what we do in a Facebook group just is not like right to do in your front lawn or on your business page. Does that make sense, Alan?
Yeah, it does, totally.
What I equate this to is that your front yard is like your business page and your backyard is the group. That's where all the fun happens. You're the host. You're playing music. You're serving food. You're engaging with your guests. You are there. It's not like you invite people into your backyard and you go, bye, I'm going in the house. I'm going to take a nap now. Like, that's not how it works. Our front yard, we're not necessarily always out in our front yard, right? We're not always on our business page and having conversations with people. So I think to kind of help frame this conversation, that analogy works really well.
And it is, and I agree totally with that, because as we know, like Facebook they've really started to look to people engaging with each other on Facebook, and I suppose it does make sense, and that analogy is actually very, very interesting, because I see exactly where you're coming from, whereas like I do it every day on my Facebook page. I put out posts and whatever, and they get a certain amount of interest. But yet, if I start talking in conversations, whether it be on Messenger, there's a lot more engagement. So I think understanding that having a group makes it so much more. And I'm in a number of groups, and yet I totally agree. There is a huge amount of content and a load of engagement, and people are talking to each other and helping each other as well, as much as anything else.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so we're recording this and it's in October right now, right? So on our front yard, we'd put out maybe a pumpkin or decorations. We wouldn't necessarily sit out in the front of our yard and go carve a pumpkin with our kids. We would do that in our backyard where it's all messy, right? So it's that mess, that relationship building, those experiences, that's what happens in the groups. But once it happens in the groups, then we put it for display on our front yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think I'm looking at Facebook groups, and I'm saying, what are the key principles to a Facebook group, really? Yeah, so
it's a great question. I would suggest that anyone who starts a Facebook group starts it for their community first, not for their company. Their company is the one sponsoring it, meaning putting the man hours behind it to grow it and engage it. But you really need to make it like for the people, so to speak. So when you're doing it, you could do things inside like challenges. You can, if you have a social learning group, you can use things called units. So that is like, if you're teaching people stuff, it's a really nice, easy way to categorize what you're doing and quickly recall it, because right. As we all know that, our Facebook timeline or the feed and even in groups, the minute you post something, it starts decaying because more people are posting more stuff, right? So units really helps with that. I think typical things like you would do on a page, like replying to people, and not just, oh, that's nice, but replying with an actual, how did you do that? Something that asks a question back to them to get them talking. But every group is really different, and it kind of depends on the type of group that you have. Alan, there are groups like pop-up groups where maybe the group only exists for 4 or 6 weeks, and it's usually for a common goal. Sometimes that's like working out or losing weight or healthy eating, or getting through a course that a consultant might provide. There's other groups that you get as a bonus to buying products from someone, or it's kind of like, okay, we're all a community of this company because we all have bought the products. There are ones where, I could kind of go all over the place right now, but groups can be used like funnels, Alan. And it really depends on like, are we just getting people into the group at the beginning, like the mass public, and moving them through the funnel? Yeah. Into a smaller group and into a smaller group where maybe you pay for it? Or is it like the supporting evidence to or a bonus to something that you actually bought? So depending on the reason for the group, it really the principle might change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I seen in the group, there's a particular group that we're in, and I thought it was a very, very ingenious thing. Is what they did was there was maybe I think there's about 97 or 98 people in that particular group, and they were all business people. Like, they're all small businesses and medium-sized businesses. And what the admin of the group went on, and she said, actually, right, okay, in 90 seconds, tell me about your business. Tell everyone about you. And it was a really, really good way, because a lot of people actually jumped into that group and actually did it. And it created so much engagement. And like, you were actually then starting to say to yourself, oh, so now I know what they do. And it automatically, it opened up whole new conversations with it. And I think that is a great thing. And I know I have the Social Media Talks podcast group at the moment. And I have to admit, I haven't really been paid much attention to it, because I think, like, I suppose in a sense, we've been just posting up the podcast and maybe one or two things. So I think just listening to what you're saying there, I think there's a lot more that we can start to do. I don't understand. You can explain that units piece there, because I'm quite intrigued now to find out about that.
Yes. Before I get there, can I back up and just give you a couple ideas for your podcast group?
Love it. Please do. Please do.
So you're not the first podcaster that I've had this conversation with, but I think it would be really fun in that group you could almost take bloopers from what you and I are doing right now and just cut those bloopers and put them in the group and make them feel like that. Or you can ask your guests for a special, like, one important question that we record, but it doesn't make it to the podcast, but it's only in the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like little things that you could do where it's not necessarily like only like, here, listen to my podcast, but it's like, because you're in this group, you get this. Or maybe for the listeners in your group right now, I'll offer, I don't have it prepared, but like a 10-point checklist to make sure that all of your Facebook groups have, and only the people in your group get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could really help. The reason why you as a podcast host would want to have it, if anyone else is listening that has their own podcast, it's because after a while, people might not keep listening to your podcast, or like their subscription goes stale and you almost have to resubscribe. So having a group like this will help that engagement start. So I hope it's okay. I went off of that tangent there.
Brilliant. I love it. Any help is always good help. That's the way I always say it. And and I suppose that in a sense that can work for any type of business, if they are doing something like that, to add I suppose it's bonus material, or if it's it's specials that within a group. So yeah, I think that's a really, really good idea. All right. It really is. It's sort of it adds that flavor that you have to, and it brings you, I suppose, it's down the sales funnel as well into that group type of thing.
Yeah, you want to offer value to them. But I do want to answer your question about the units. So the units, you can get units in your group if you choose it to be a social learning group. When I say choose to be, it's under settings, and then it says type of group, and you can do like a community group, a support group, and one of those things is social learning. It's on the third row up kind of at the top, and it even says in parentheses that you get units. What units is it's found right where you see videos, photos, files, units.
Right.
And so when you post something, you can add it to a unit, or you can create a unit. So think of unit as like chapters, like it's like a table of content.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah. That's what I was just about to ask you. Is it similar to a chapter or modules or something like that? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'll give you a real life example. I have a mastermind, and I've got a bunch of people in there, but every month we deep dive on a different topic. So perhaps this month we're talking about websites, but someone has a question about sales. And I'm like, wow, we had a really good interview on sales. And I know that as the moderator, I took that one post and I said, add it to the units under sales. So now when I'm talking to you in, months later, I can say, Alan, go to the unit section, click sales, and look for the video that says Jennifer. And it's so easy for you to find now.
Yeah.
If we didn't have that, and I wasn't a good group leader, meaning like, all those important posts, make sure once a week I go through them and I kind of file them, then we can have that easy recall. Because before that, our only option was to type it in the search box and then scaffold through
and scroll,
lots of different posts.
Exactly,
Yeah.
So it's a great way of narrowing down a search as well as anything else. But,
it does, and it also helps lead to, I would say, for lack of a better word, customer satisfaction. Your group members have a better experience in there because they don't feel so overwhelmed that they're getting so much information and they lose it or they can't find it. So it helps them feel good, like, okay, I know I can go to this resource. And similarly for me, like in the mastermind, if I have someone come in now in October, but we had a really great unit in March, I can say, go back to the unit in March and you might want to look through that because it's all right there.
Yeah.
We could not do that if we didn't have units, you know?
And I suppose as well, like that, it just, as you say, it adds to the value of that group and it creates engagement. And I think that's what we're all trying to do is create engagement, and through building communities. And, for best practices, I suppose that is another great way of actually going and building out your community. And as well as that, it's you create a lot of valuable information within that. And I think that's the key is to add value to people's lives, which I think is a big that people miss out on that, or some marketers miss out on that, and companies miss out on, because they're not adding value. They're just pushing all the time instead of adding value.
Yeah. And along those same lines, like, let's talk about how to name your group, what do I name my group? My company is, I'll use me as an example again, okay? Like, my company is Jump Consulting, and I have Jumpstart Your Pet Business. I also have I Own a Pet Sitting Company with Staff. They're not the sexiest names, but one of them is a play on my business name. The other one talks directly to the person that I want in that group. I have a pet sitting company and I have staff.
Yeah.
There's other ones that will use their name in it, but also make it about the community. For example, Impact Elite. Impact Brand and Design is this awesome company out in Connecticut. And they use Impact, but they make it elite. So Impact Elite, like, yeah, I'm elite. Like, I'm in there, And then even Social Media Examiner, they've got the Social Media Marketing Society. So it's part of their name, but the society, gives us the impression that it's about the whole, the community, right? So it's okay to use your name if it's making it about them. But generally speaking, I would really caution anyone who wants to just make it all about their company, because nobody cares about your company. No. People want to have that party in the backyard. It's not like, everybody look at me in the backyard. What makes it happy, what makes it a good barbecue is that there's some people dancing over there. There's some people in the pool over here. There's some people cuddled around like the barbecue, flipping the burgers and just having conversation.
Totally, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on within each other, not you on stage talking about how great you are, because that's not what it's about, right? But they're going to keep coming back to this party because they had such a great experience.
And people, of course, people buy from people and people interact with people. They don't interact with your company. They interact with the person who's behind that company. So very important, of course, to do that as well.
The person who helped produce that experience.
Exactly. And then when they do that, then, everything will fall into place. It'll follow a line. So it really is. Yeah. And I think, that idea of, and I love this analogy of the backyard and the front yard. I think that's just, I really think it does, because what it does is it humanizes it so much in every shape and form. Like, I know when I'm training and I'm teaching or whatever like that, I would always try and humanize it and say, okay, if you can imagine this as what, so it really does, it helps people understand it so much more. There's so much there, like, that you're talking about, like with the game, with the regards to the name of your group. And I see, like, I understand where you're coming from in respect of that. Whereas if you have, say for instance, we have Compass Media actually means nothing. But if it means, like, if I have a group called, Social Media Help, automatically now you're changing the whole perspective of the group and the whole interaction as well, and people start to understand it a lot more.
Exactly. Yeah,
it really is. It's amazing. There's things, as you said earlier on, about, say, for the podcast and stuff, that should be focusing on community and adding value. What would be some of the key things that you would say to people if they have a group? Because we would have a lot of small and medium-sized business and entrepreneurs that would have their own particular groups. What would be, a few key points that you would say to them to maybe use?
So I think challenges are really cool. Challenges when people don't know they're coming. I mean, if you've ever seen, the ice bucket challenge or the Kiki dance challenge or the baby shark challenge, people are always doing this stuff. And I think it's kind of cool. So if you are a consultant or a business owner, I think understanding that we are all humans doing business with humans, right? So, okay, you and I are sitting at our computers, we're staring at our screens, our keyboards are in front of us. We're probably docked up here for a couple hours today. Well, what if a group that you actually really liked was like, all right, guys, everyone needs to do 20 jumping jacks on camera. And the person who gets the most likes for it will get a $20 Amazon gift card sent to your email. I don't know, something like that, right? Does it have anything to do with your business? No. Is that okay? Yes, because it has to do with the human being, actually moving or something. In my groups, we do a lot of challenges throughout the whole month. And at the end, we give prizes to the person who wins. And there are all kinds of things when we were doing customer service, it was a challenge to go get more reviews, and we gave them a script and how to go do it and ask for it. We have big hairy goal challenges where we just simply say, and this could work for anybody, I call it that, and we have a big hairy man
Love it.
And we say, okay, what's one thing you want to get done next week? And then you got to list out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What are the tasks you're going to do to get that goal? This works a couple different ways. One, it gets people focused, and it's like, all right, I really want to get this done, and I know people are going to be holding me accountable and calling me out. Two, it helps train your brain on what can I set as mini goals, those tasks Monday through Friday. And you learn, because no one ever asks you to do this, but you learn, maybe I'm setting too lofty of goals, or maybe I'm not setting big enough goals. That task was so easy, I should have pushed myself more. So through that, the individuals are actually able to get that self-development and reflection if they allow it. And your group is what helped do that. So I'm a big proponent of challenges, of all sorts of kind of challenges. And this day and age, it's really easy to just send. I mean, it could be a $10 Starbucks card you could send virtually. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, $100 or something. It could be anything you want. But just the little friendly competition really gets that morale. Yeah. Another element would be we like to do Zoom calls. We're on Zoom right now too, but how great would it be for once a month you to invite everyone on a Zoom call and you all just do a roundup and you talk about what's going on, or maybe you pick a topic, or maybe someone had a problem and you round up around them. I know some groups that they don't even do anything. They just say, all right, we're going to be on camera working for 1 hour. That's it. They don't even talk, but they're making this virtual workspace, and it just feels like you're there. And because we have access to these cameras, which are beautiful, we all have them, it really helps connect the world a little bit more. Yeah. So, and again, all of this stuff, your dopamine goes off and you just get so happy, you're like, wow, I'm not all alone, or they struggled with that challenge too, or they're really funny. They did a funny way on it. And that's stuff that you can't just always get over texting people back and forth on a board. This is the last one I'll say, because I could keep going, of course, but another one we might do is, it's a challenge, but with that big hairy goal challenge, a twist to it that I didn't mention is you have to go on video in the comments and tell us what was your task today and if you did it, and then you have to write 1 point. So you can't even say, oh yeah, Alan, I put the letters in the mail. It's like, hey, Alan, so my goal is this, and my task today was to put the letters in the mail, and I did it. 1 point. And what that does, it is so incredible. I had one girl who started in January terrified of going live. Do you know that by June, she had her own Facebook Live show? And fabulous. Since then, it's even grown to the fact that she has t-shirts and she's being asked to join other shows and go on live TV in her town, because it became so popular, because she showed up, she was consistent, but she never would have done it unless she had that experience, that safe experience in my backyard with all our friends, with no one to judge her, and she wasn't on stage. You know what I mean? Yeah, totally. So it's these breakthroughs that you can facilitate happening, and you bet your bottom dollar these people are definitely going to remember what company or brand or whatever helped them achieve this kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think that, you know, some of them are really they're excellent. I know, for instance, like I'm doing a master's course next week, and I've had a few calls during the week with people asking me, oh, what do you think? And, you know, I'm very nervous, and they're all sort of coming to me, and I'm going, hold on, I'm going on the course with you. I'm not giving it, like whatever. And like that, we have a private group, and I went in and I just literally done a quick 5-minute video saying, look guys, don't be apprehensive, just go have a bit of fun with it and whatever. And the amount of interaction, and then of course I was having a bit of fun, and I put on a silly hat at the end of it, and I went, you know, if you're good, I'll wear this on Saturday and whatever. And next of all, people start coming back within the group and saying, thanks Alan, you know, reassured, and that was great. Next of all, they all start coming back in. I'm wearing this hat. So it was a real you know, and that came out of absolutely nothing. It was just me sitting here, and it just says, "Come on, we'll have a bit of fun at the end of it," because they were all quite nervous what they were talking when we were talking. So it was just sort of to break the ice as much as anything. So now I think the thing is we're all going to be wearing hats on the first day. So I'm going to definitely going to put up a Facebook live a video on the group to show that as well. So yes, I can see. And that's
like your group bonding and forming. You all now have this inside joke that only you guys share. And you could tease that out in public, but they're not in the Cool Kid Club. Like there's that exclusivity to that. That's amazing. That's an awesome example.
Yeah, it really is. And it's great like that. And, you know, and the more you talk about that, the more I see I'm sitting here in my head and I'm listening to you and I'm going, oh, and I can do that and I can do that. And then suddenly sparks to a flame. You know yourself the way it goes. It's really just, you just start out like that. And, you know, and then like there's so much, I just find it now, like now has opened up my eyes to how Facebook groups can actually really benefit people and benefit you know, whether it be clients or whether it be, you know, friends or family or, you know, just other influencers. Like I'm actually thinking about starting up an influencers group and then coming in and having them masterminds, because I'm always talking to different people on the podcast. And it would be great that, you know, all right, we talk one-to-one every so often, but it'd be great to be able to say, okay, well, let's do a Zoom call with 6 of us here and we'll just chat and see if anyone has issues or anyone can help each other. And I think that's going to be something that I'm going to definitely look into in the future. But, you know, well worth thinking about. But some of them suggestions are absolutely amazing. I think they're just great. I'm really excited now. I can't wait to go and do more about it, you know.
I'm wondering if any of your audience is also excited, and if they are, I would love for them to, you know, write you and tell us what kind of ideas are popping off in their head too, and get those juices flowing, perhaps in your Facebook group, right?
Yeah, definitely. So the Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/social media talk. So go and join it and stop messing around, as I always say. Come into the group. Yeah, it'd be brilliant. But Bella, you've wrote, I know your website is Jump Consulting, and you also have Bella Vasta. Because I said your name earlier on to someone else and they went, no, it's Vasta. And I went, okay, right. Because I think people say, but it's at bellavasta.com as well, where they can find out all the information about you as well. And you've also wrote a book, the 4 types of dogs every business needs, how to build the right team and grow your business and have a balanced life. I think that's a fabulous title for a book.
Thank you. I was really looking at, you know, what helped me build my career, and that was the pet business. And if anyone is a dog lover, you all know that each dog has their own personality, but more so the breeds really do follow a personality as well. And I kind of saw 4 different major areas of every business, and I again analyze them to the dog. So and it was birthed because pun intended, I had a daughter who was born at only 12 ounces or 350 grams. She's one of the smallest surviving female babies on the planet, and had I not had my systems in place or my dogs in place, I would have lost my business, Alan. And so this book is really there to inspire people as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, to really understand the 4 points that you need to make your business work without you in it. Because unfortunately, there will come a time that you or someone you love needs you. and you have to walk out of your business for a little bit. And I want to make sure, like, I'm on this mission to make sure that people have catastrophized proofed their business.
Yeah. And you have so many videos out there as well, like on the website and as well. And you can, you find you all over social. And like I've watched, I obviously, before I was interviewing you and whatever, before we were chatting, I went and I had a look, and, just listening to some of the things that you've said in the videos, and some, they really are, they're so important. And I think, we all work in business, and we're all running around, and we're all trying to get ahead and whatever. But I think there's a time when we have to stop and stand back from it and be able to be confident to know that we have systems in place there that are still going to work, because at the end of the day, life is much more important than business.
Yes.
Much more important, and and I really mean that, because I think you have to have that work-life balance, but you also have to have that time as well to be able to step back and think properly.
Yeah, the reason why we all got into business is so that we could have options in life, right? Not so that we could be in bondage to our business or be held hostage or feel like a slave to it, and that's what really helps turn that around.
Brilliant. I could sit here and talk to you all day about this, because I find it fascinating. But I always ask my guests at the end of the show one question, and it's not related to business, it's just a bit of fun. And the question I ask is if you had the chance to invite someone to dinner, or some people to dinner, as the case has been in the past, who would it be, from whether it be past or present? Who would it be and why?
I would totally ask Bethany Frankel to dinner. Bethany Frankel is the owner of Skinny Jeans. She's spearheaded Hurricane Maria with her Be Strong, and also in Houston. She's a great philanthropist, a New Yorker, a mom, and a Housewives on Bravo. But I just love her, and I would totally ask her to dinner. So Bethany, if you're listening, want to get some dinner?
Well, you're gonna have to make that a joint date, because we had Jen Herman on, and she said exactly the same person. So
oh my gosh,
I think the two of you, when I know you're friends as well, so you know what I mean. Well, there you go.
I had no idea. That's so funny. I'll have to ask her about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's and it's just when you said it, that's where this. You obviously see me smile. I just went, who else? Someone else has said that, but no, brilliant stuff.
Well, that's why Jen and I are friends.
Oh yeah, well of course it is. How can people reach out to you if they want to get in contact with you, Bella?
I love to connect with people, Alan. So guys, just reach out to me on Facebook, send me a friend request and like a quick message, and tell me that you heard me on this podcast. Let me know if there's any way I can help you in any way. It's Bella Vasta, V like in Victor, ASTA. You can find me there on Facebook and on Instagram. And like Alan was saying, my websites are bellavasta.com, or if you're in the pet business, jumpconsulting.net.
Brilliant stuff. Bella, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and we wish you continued success in the future, and we shall talk to you very soon. So thanks for coming on the podcast today with us.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So my thanks to Bella for coming on the podcast today and talking to us all about Facebook groups and sharing with us some fantastic insights and tricks and tips on how to improve your engagement within your groups on Facebook as well. And if you'd like to find out more information about Bella, you can log on to her website at bellavasta.com or on jumpconsulting.com as well. You can also find her on all of these social media platforms, and as she said herself, she's always delighted to connect with you. So once again, as I said, thanks to Bella for coming on today and chatting with us. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. And all of our podcasts are available on Mixcloud, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you are on Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a rating and review, as we're always thrilled to receive your feedback on any of our podcasts. You can also subscribe to the Social Media Talks podcast there, so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like the show notes for this episode or for any of the previous episodes, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/show notes. And And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please do get in contact with us by emailing us at smtalks@compassmedia.ie. And if you'd like to find out about the services that Compass Media provide, from social media marketing, social media training, consultancy and podcast services, please log on to our website as well and find out all the details there. You can also reach out and connect with me on social by logging on to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn or Instagram and searching for Alan Hennessy or for Compass Media. And the Social Media Talks podcast is sponsored by Content Cal, creating a solution to simplify and speed up how teams can play, collaborate on, approve, publish and analyse social media content in a familiar and intuitive calendar interface. And for more information, you can log on to their website at contentcal.io. And as they say, beautifully simple social media software. And the Social Media Talks podcast is also proudly supported by charityradio.ie, one of Ireland's leading online radio stations, supporting charities for Ireland. That's about my love for today. Until the next time we see you, have a great week and thanks for joining us. And remember, as I always say, be social. So until next week at the same time, have a great week and be social. Until next time, bye-bye.
Social Media Talks podcast is a production from compassmedia.ie.